For this problem, we are depositing $1,000 into a savings account, and then we're going to leave it alone, which means no deposits or withdrawals from said account. Each year after the opening deposit, the amount in the account will grow to be 103% of its previous year's balance. A says after 2 years, the account balance will have experienced two growth amounts of 103%. You can find this account balance amount here using with the spreadsheet computation, and I will go ahead and type in that computation using the equal sign. We have 1,000 times 103%, which would give us our first year of growth, but then we have a second year, so we'll multiply again by 103%. It says to perform this computation in the spreadsheet and write the balance that you find. And I'm noticing I typed in 100 instead of 1,000, so I'll fix that. I will want this to be money, so I can click it and change it by clicking the dollar format currency sign, and now it's money. B says now enter the spreadsheet computation. 1,000 times, and this time we're doing 103%, but we are raising it to the power of 2 using exponents. I put 100 again. And when I turn that to money, you'll see that it gives us the same answer, and it's asking us to compare the two spreadsheet computations and explain why they give the same results. And this is because of the properties for exponents. When you raise the 103% to the power of 2, it means that you are multiplying 103% by itself 2 times. And so however many times you're multiplying something by itself, you can make an exponent for that to that power. So if I'm multiplying by itself 3 times, I use the number 3 instead of 2. And we can see this in part C, which says to use the pattern in part B and carefully choosing the power, compute the balance that will be in the account after 15 full years after the original opening amount. So our opening amount, once again, is 1,000. Our percent increase is 103%, and we want 15 full years, so I'm going to raise it to the power of 15, and I can change that to money to show the amount of money in the account after 15 full years. The next one, the next two, I suppose, are challenge practice problems. D says to make a spreadsheet that shows the amount balance each individual year for 30 years. So I'm going to delete this column and use the same spreadsheet here. We're going to have years and then our balance. Let's format this so that we'll format the whole, both columns, and I want this to be centered. I'm going to drag down this bar here to freeze the words year and balance so that I can kind of move around and not change that. Our first year is year 0 when we deposit the amount of $1,000, and this will be money, so I'm going to go ahead and make that whole column money. So the first year, first full year, we're going to have the $1,000 times our increase, which is 103%. And then our second year, we will have an additional increase. I could go ahead and multiply that and then do the 103% to the power of 2 like we did before. and continue doing that all the way through. But what I'll do instead is use the drag fill as it suggests in the problem. I think it suggests in the problem. Yeah, the fill down feature and the dollar formatting. So we'll pull this down until we get to 30 years. So all I did, we'll redo that. I highlighted the first 3 years so that the computer can pick up the pattern that I want. I want it to count by ones. And since I'm highlighting 3 so that it can see 0, 1, 2, and I click on this little bubble here and drag that down until I get to the number I want. So that's 30 years. And I'll use the same feature here. It's going to take the formula here and repeat that pattern, but I want to make sure that it references the cell before when that pattern happens. So it's going to take the cell before, in this case B2, and multiply it by 103%. If I drag it down, you'll see that it took the cell before, B3, and multiplied by the 103%. So I'm going to continue dragging that down. So I have a full 3 years worth of account balances. Sorry, 30 years worth of account balances. It says, what minimum number of full years will you have to wait until the balance exceeds twice the opening deposit balance? And the opening balance was 1,000, so we're looking for when we get to 2,000, and we're almost there at 23 months, but we don't get there until we surpass 24 months, so it will take a full 24 months to get double the balance. E wants us to redo this spreadsheet formula or table, and do it for the balance of 5,000 rather than 1,000. So instead of erasing, I'm just going to do it here so that we can have them side by side. Formatting so that everything's in the center. Once again, I start with the first 3 and drag down to get to 30 years. This time, we're starting with $5,000, and same percent increase. So we're going to do one. We're going to reference the previous cell and multiply it by 103%, and take that formula and drag that down to 30 years. And it's asking us essentially the same question: is at what point will the account exceed twice the opening balance? So we're looking for $10,000, and once again that's happening over here at 24 months when we get past 9,000 and getting it into $10,000. And then it asks, do you think your answer would be the same here for any positive opening balance you may choose for the account? And the answer will be yes, because the percent increase is 103% for all accounts, and so it's the same percentage of growth that's happening regardless of the amount of money you started with.